Have you ever planted something lovely, gone to bed feeling quite proud of yourself, and then come out the next morning to find one sad little stalk where your plant used to be? Yep, that, my friend, is probably slugs, and their little shelled friends, snails. Basically, slugs with a mobile home. Tiny garden criminals. Very slow criminals, obviously, but still surprisingly committed. For this video, I'll mostly say slugs, but these tips can help with snails too. If slugs are eating your plants, don't panic. You're not a terrible gardener, and you definitely don't need to buy 20 different products and turn your garden into a science experiment. In this video, I'll show you 5 simple, beginner-friendly things you can try to protect your plants, without being cruel, without overcomplicating it, and without spending loads of money. Let's start with the first one. Number 1. Check your garden in the evening. This sounds almost too simple, but it really helps. Slugs usually come out when it's damp, cool, and darker. So if you're looking for them at midday, when the sun is out, you might think, well, I can't see anything. Maybe my plant is just falling apart emotionally. But slugs are sneaky little night shift workers. Have a look in the evening, especially after rain. Check around the base of your plants, under pots, under leaves, and near damp corners. You might find them sitting there like they own the place. If you see them, you can gently move them away from the plants. Pop them somewhere less precious, like a wilder corner of the garden, a compost area, or away from your seedlings. The point here isn't to solve everything in one night. You're just working out what's actually happening. Once you know slugs or snails are the problem, you can stop guessing. Number 2. Protect the baby plants first. This is really important. Slugs are much more of a problem for small, soft, young plants. A big, established plant can often cope with a few nibbles. It might look a bit ragged, but it usually survives. But a tiny seedling? That can disappear overnight. One minute it's a promising little plant, next minute it's a memory. So if you're a beginner, focus your energy on protecting the youngest plants first. Seedlings, new bedding plants, young herbs, lettuce, dahlias, hostas, anything soft and delicious looking is basically a slug buffet. If you've just planted something new, give it a bit of extra protection for the first few weeks while it settles in and grows stronger. This could be as simple as keeping young plants in pots for a little longer before planting them out, raising them on a table, or placing them somewhere you can keep an eye on them. Number 3. Use simple barriers. Now, barriers can help, but let's keep this realistic. You do not need to buy every slug product on the internet. You can start with simple things you may already have. For pots, try moving them slightly away from walls, long grass, damp corners, and piles of leaves. Slugs love hiding places, so if your pot is pressed against a damp wall surrounded by clutter, you've basically given them a hotel with breakfast included. You can also raise pots up on little feet, bricks, or stands if you have them. This makes it a bit harder for slugs to casually slide in and help themselves. Some people use rough textures around pots or beds, like grit, gravel, crushed eggshells, or similar materials. Results can vary, especially when it rains, but they may help as part of a bigger plan. The main thing is this: don't rely on one magic trick. Think of it as making life a bit more annoying for the slugs. Number 4. Tidy the hiding places. This one is boring but powerful. Slugs love damp, dark, cozy places. Old leaves, plant debris, unused pots, bits of wood, overgrown edges, and cluttered corners can all give them somewhere to hide during the day. So one of the easiest things you can do is have a little tidy up around the plants they're eating. You don't have to make your garden spotless. In fact, a garden that's too tidy isn't always great for wildlife. But around your most vulnerable plants, try to clear away the obvious slug hiding spots. Lift old pots, move bits of wood, clear soggy leaves from around seedlings. Cut back anything that's creating a damp tunnel straight to your favorite plant. You're not trying to create a perfect garden. You're just saying, "Excuse me, this is not a slug Airbnb." A 10-minute tidy around your most precious plants can genuinely help. Number 5, water in the morning, not late at night. This is a really simple beginner tip. If you water your plants late in the evening, the soil and leaves can stay damp overnight. And damp overnight conditions are basically a slug party invitation. So if slugs are a problem, try watering in the morning instead. That gives the surface a chance to dry out a bit during the day. Your plants still get water, but you're not making the whole area extra cozy for slugs at exactly the time they like to come out. Of course, if it's really hot and your plants are looking desperate, use your judgment. Give them a drink. Gardening is not about following rules so strictly that your poor petunias are fainting in the corner. But as a general habit, morning watering is better when you're dealing with slugs. It's one of those tiny changes that can make your garden less inviting to them. And we do want to be welcoming in life, just not to everything with a slime trail. Bonus tip: choose plants slugs don't love as much. Now, this is not a perfect rule because slugs can surprise you. They're not exactly polite dinner guests, but some plants do tend to get eaten more than others. Soft, young, juicy plants are usually more tempting. So if your garden gets a lot of slug damage, it can help to mix in tougher plants that slugs are less interested in. For beginners, this is actually quite freeing. It means you don't have to keep fighting the same battle over and over again. If every time you plant one particular thing, it gets eaten overnight, maybe don't take it personally. Maybe that plant just isn't the right match for that spot. Try stronger plants. Try pots. Try moving things. Try a different spot. You are allowed to adapt. Here are 5 plants slugs and snails often leave alone. Now, a quick beginner-friendly plant list, because it's not much help if I say, choose tougher plants, and then don't tell you any. Nothing is completely slug-proof. A very hungry slug is basically a tiny stomach with no manners. But there are some plants they often bother less. Here are 5 to try. Lavender. Strong smell, tough leaves, and it looks lovely in a sunny spot. Rosemary. Another strong-scented plant. Great in pots and useful if you like cooking. Hardy geraniums. Not the bright bedding geraniums necessarily, but the hardy garden kind. They're tough, pretty, and good for beginners. Ferns. Especially useful if you've got a shadier, damper corner where other plants struggle. Euphorbia. Tougher, interesting-looking plants that slugs often don't fancy as much. And don't forget, always check the plant suits your garden conditions: sun, shade, soil, and space before you buy it. Good luck! And if you've got any slug or snail tips of your own, pop them in the comments so we can all compare notes. If this helped, feel free to subscribe and follow along for more simple home and garden fixes. We're absolutely winging it, but we might as well do it together. Catch you next time.